If people are wondering what the fuck this is, if you're just listening, we have tongs. Me and Brian brought tongs.
Yes. And they're clicking them a lot.
Folks, Taylor is a dad, and Brian, if you're not, you really should. If you've never seen the podcast on YouTube, it's worth going there right now because Brian and we've showed up to the studio in our best dad getups.
We're trying to match Taylor's dad energy.
Yeah, matching dad energy. We're trying to show up and support the dad life.
Appreciate that, guys.
Old Bucko here showed up here. He's got a kid now, and we're drinking Bud-Lights and oh, actually, this is a good moment to. Everyone knows that I have been the daddy for a long time, and I am no longer the daddy. Taylor is officially now the daddy of the podcast. Now I'm just simply an uncle.
Wow.
But
wow.
In lieu of that, you've got a gift there.
In the box.
In that Bud-Light box. Yep.
Oh,
so
okay.
this is the official handing down of the daddy title. I can no longer claim it, and so this is now yours.
The shirt that I bought you.
So you're gonna have to change into that right now.
Okay.
So we'll pause here.
Okay.
Get you into that.
You guys can keep riffing. I'll just
daddy
this will
shirt.
be easy peasy.
Well, yeah. So crazy. You had a fucking kid, and a beautiful little girl. And I take it that everything went well. You know, it looked like Kyla was doing okay. Baby's cute as shit.
Super cute.
You know what? We got a little video here. So this is Zaya, Taylor's baby. Dude, do you have this on like 0.5? She looks long as shit.
She is long.
You got a long ass baby, dude.
Dude, she is.
Look at her.
Oh, hi there,
Dude, her
baby.
little sounds. Listen.
Oh my god.
Didn't the guitarist in Limp Bizkit have eyes like Zaya? The fully blacked out.
She does have those black like devil eyes, eh? Oh, this is kind of like Rosemary's Baby a little bit.
They're slowly becoming like ocean blue, and then they'll probably become green.
Because, oh my god, she's so cute.
She's so cute.
For people who don't know the reference of the guy from Limp Bizkit, these are the eyes that we were talking about there. Oh, god.
He looks just like Zaya.
He's not cute.
Just like Zaya.
Yeah, he's there for the freaks. So yeah, we got the tongs here.
Buddy.
Yeah, so she's in the 100th percentile for length.
Whoa.
What does that mean?
It means that
like she's as long as they come.
She's as long as they come.
What, really? Actually?
Yeah, yeah.
Man,
how long is she?
She's the range is 18 to 22, and she's like 22 and a half.
Yeah, you know what I was gonna say?
Yeah, so like if you were 22 inches long when you're born, then you are in the 99th percentile, and that's as long as you
as
go.
As long as they come.
It's as long as it goes on a chart. And
22 inches. That's as long as John Holmes' dick. Do you know that?
Who's John Holmes?
John Holmes, one of the most famous porn stars.
Yeah.
From way back in the day, also a huge piece of shit.
So not like further back than Ron Jeremy or like Ron Jeremy?
Yeah, back in the 70s.
Yeah. Well, Ron Jeremy's like a 70s guy, isn't he? 70s or 80s.
He would have been like young in the 70s. Yeah, John Holmes. He actually had a 14-inch penis, but anyway.
Guys, I was gonna say, Jerry, you haven't seen this video yet, but
no, and I won't.
There's
I won't. Hey, buddy, I won't watch that one though.
No, I'm going to show you.
Oh, come on, no, we can't watch that, buddy.
I'm going to show you.
I look, bud. No, it's okay.
There's a video. Really okay. So there's a video of the birth, and I watch it. It's beautiful, but there's a moment.
No, that's not the word, dude.
That's there's this moment in it where
it's traumatizing is the word.
The nurse who's assisting with the birthing process is like, oh, she's got football player shoulders.
Yeah, she actually does say that.
Yeah. I was like,
she's long and girthy.
Like, is that the last thing you want to hear as somebody who's like, they're like, push, and like, oh, that's a particularly wide one that's passing.
She's a big baby. Like,
that's really funny. Kyla's a big girl.
But all the
didn't mean it like. What I mean is like Kyla's. She's kind of tall, right? She's about like 5'7", maybe
5'8".
5'8".
Yep.
Okay, yeah, and like. You know, she's got like a build.
She's
to her.
like football build.
She looks like she could bench me.
Yeah, she's got a strong. She's got a
strong body.
Yeah, she's got a strong body.
Guys, it's 2022. We cannot be commenting on on women's bodies. You guys tried to cancel me last podcast. I think you guys should be
Hey,
canceled.
buddy, we're dads. We can do what we want.
Yeah, it's just a dad joke.
It's just
there.
dad stuff.
But she was so like all the nurses and stuff. I mean, all this is like fucking is speculation. But when they're looking at Kyla, they're going, oh, you know, the amount of weight that you gained was like fairly minimal. She gained 30 pounds. It's like the average is 25 to 35. But I guess at the hospital they were like, you know, that's a sign. That's like a medical average. But the reality is that most people gain a lot more than that.
Right.
So Kyla kind of just looked like Kyla more or less, at least to my eyes anyway. I guess it's hard for me to say because I saw her gain her baby weight over pregnancy weight over like the period of a long time.
Yeah, it's like donut gaining weight. It's like,
But
I can't tell.
But I always thought like, wow, you really didn't gain. You really just looked like you just gained a baby in your belly. You didn't really gain anything. And it seemed like the nurses thought that too. So the nurses were like, oh yeah, you're going to have it's going to be such a, like a small baby,
Petite one.
a small baby that's going to be like relatively easy to pass. They were thinking like 7.5 pounds maybe. And she was 8.5 pounds, which is on the like average to higher end sort of.
When they
scale.
pull the baby out, it was like one of those magic tricks where they go, oh my God, it doesn't stop. It just keeps coming.
Exactly.
Listen, we got one more gift for you there, Tay, to ring in the new life. A really, really, really nice bottle of scotch.
Oh, dude, that is so
So,
fantastic.
Don't worry, that we
we'll-
already got into
I have
it.
been meaning.
We'll crack this open. It's my favorite scotch that exists. It's Aberlour Bunnud. I don't know. I know that my friend Michaela from Scotland would
Maybe Abanad, maybe, I don't know.
Abana.
Yeah.
It's probably Abana.
I'm sure there's a in there.
Yeah. So congrats, dude. That's very exciting. We are, I mean, I can't wait. I haven't had the chance to meet her yet, but I can't wait to meet Zaya. She's a cute little thing.
What a crazy fucking process it is. You know, like, you know, like TV and film make pregnancy and birth seem like, you know, obviously they can't have a 24-hour birth scene in a movie, but
Because it was long.
It
Like
was-
she went in. They induced her on a Saturday, right?
yeah. So like, you know, more, and this is like all shit that I've learned through the last few months, and then I learned a fuckload there. And because you're with like once the induction like really starts,
Yeah.
then you have a nurse or two with you at all times until it's go time to actually like pull the baby out, and then you've got like a team of a bunch of people. And so it was so more to kind of start from the beginning, obviously the ideal birth, like the picture perfect sort of birth, is that it happens naturally. Like you just start having contractions at home and then it happens. And so first time, if it's your first baby, then you're likely to go past term. Term is 40 weeks. You're likely to go past 40 weeks, maybe to 41, maybe to 41 and a half. And then at 41 and a half, usually they're like, okay, we don't want this to go any longer. And I learned that the reason is because you're at risk of the placenta stopping to work.
Oh, wow.
Shit, because we were going to say it because when we're at the grill, we usually say she's done.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
done,
yeah, exactly. It's like when you stick the fork in it and you go,
She's done, buddy.
The
She's
juice
done.
comes
Oh, yeah.
out,
Yeah.
it's running clear.
Yeah.
She's done.
exactly.
But-
And that's like
okay.
and that would be like a
Juice comes out. She's running clear. She's done.
That's what we say when we're working the grill.
and so that's the ideal. But so the placenta can stop working at like 42 plus. They're really like, this placenta is running on fumes. It's got no more fuel left.
Wow.
It could just stop working at any time, and then obviously that's a huge risk. So and then with IVF pregnancies, this isn't talking to Mike Ripley, who we had on the podcast.
Yeah.
So we had an appointment with him like 4 or 5 days before we went into the hospital. And so all along they've been telling us you're going to be induced at 39 weeks. We induce at 39 weeks. And I kind of was scratching my head going, well, Kyla she started at high risk automatically because it's IVF. And then after a couple of appointments, they said, you're not high risk anymore. So we're not going to have like these excess appointments and everything, because everything's fine. we have no concerns. So, but still they say 39 weeks. And I was always kind of scratching my head going, I wonder why it's supposed to be earlier for IVF. And then at that appointment, I asked Mike, and he said, really, there's really not a whole lot of scientific evidence around it. It's not a consensus in the medical community, but the theory is that
she's done.
She's done.
She's running clear.
So Mike said that
she's done, buddy.
There is a little bit of evidence. There's a little bit of evidence, not conclusive, but a little bit of evidence that says that placentas that are created from IVF pregnancies aren't quite as good as natural births.
Wow.
And so again, not evidence-based.
She's off the shelf.
But because of that, there's a theory that the placenta could stop working earlier than it normally would. So they say, let's get the baby out a little bit earlier just to completely avoid the possibility that the placenta will stop working at like 40 or 41. So we go in on Saturday and Kyla is like 0% dilated, meaning that like she hasn't begun. Her body has not begun the process of trying to get this baby out at all.
Barbecue wasn't hot enough.
And so what they do, dude, yes, keep the...
You gotta get her piping, bud.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
You've been cooking too long with the lid up. You gotta fucking close that lid. Let it heat up in there.
Yeah, exactly. And so,
if people are wondering what the fuck this is, if you're just listening, we have tongs. Me and Brian brought tongs.
Yes. And they're clicking them a lot.
This is our version of when you watch like Legendary and they clap like just tapping their fingers. This is our version of that.
So you go now, guys. This is a fucking fascinating process.
Yo, cheers, Taylor.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, Dad.
I appreciate that.
Some very, very intense alcohol.
It's is it 60%? Because this is 60, eh?
It is, but it's got a the Abalor's got like a fucking burn on it. We're drinking, buddy. We're drinking gasoline here.
Cooking with
that
gas.
flavor's really
cooking
nice,
with gas. Wish it was coal. So basically, when you naturally go into labor, it's because your body has started to produce oxytocin. You guys, I know you know what oxytocin is. Do you know what oxytocin is?
Oh yeah, dude.
Like
of course.
The hormone, the love hormone.
It's a love
hormone. Drug.
Yeah. So your body, when you
I produced some oxytocin last night, if you know what I'm saying.
Hey,
I had sex.
Oh my God.
I had sex last night, boys.
Wow, that's incredible. Oh my God. So oxytocin is what's naturally released, and that will come like days and days before you actually.
And that's the thing that allows women to dilate, right? Like the oxytocin is the thing that kind of lubes up the.
Yeah, it actually, what it does is it tells the body to have contractions, and then the contractions kind of tell the body, the cervix to start dilating.
Right.
So when that's not there, and you go in and they want to make you get the baby out, they put you on an IV. First, they give you a drug called what's it called? Misoprostol, I think it's called. That starts to dilate the cervix a little bit, and then
miso loose.
Yeah, miso soup, and then basically once the cervix starts dilating, they give you a few doses of that, and then they hook you up to an IV that has oxytocin. And the oxytocin starts the contractions.
I wonder what that feels like. Like if I was just sitting here and someone juiced me up with oxytocin, like I wonder how. Like I wonder if that would
probably start shitting your.
It's a love. It's a love potion.
Yeah. Like I wonder if it would feel like euphoric. Like I wonder if there would be like an elation, because when you're like when you're cuddling someone or like holding hands or whatever, like that's the release of oxytocin. Like that is the I wonder if you're getting it just fucking mainlined. Like, are you like, oh, this feels so nice.
Yeah. Well, I think maybe outside of the labor context, maybe.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like if they were doing it to me now.
Yeah. So she gets on the oxytocin, and then they're like constantly monitoring how much they're giving you. And they're literally like turning the dial on how often and how intense the contractions are by increasing or decreasing the amount of oxytocin per hour that's going into the IV that you're getting from the IV.
I'm imagining it like the Dr. Hose pads that you put on you. And have you guys ever used those?
No.
What is this? Dr. Hose pads?
Dr. Hose is the electrostimulus pads
Oh,
that you can
yeah,
get for
yeah.
like muscle relief
Right,
and
yeah.
muscle soreness.
Okay.
And you put them on you and you get this little dial. It's like one of those infomercial products.
Yeah.
And you can turn it up from like,
As
it's like
seen
a
on
zero,
TV.
like 0
Yeah.
to 10 scale.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, I think what they're hooking up to at the hospital is an as seen on TV product as well.
Well, that's what I was thinking. It sounds exactly like
Yeah.
that. It's like a Dr. Ho's contraction
Exactly.
meter. And
Oh,
you're like,
Dr. Hose, H-O apostrophe. Yes.
Yeah.
Dr.
Yeah,
Ho. Yeah. The
Yeah.
feet guy.
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, so I was wondering if like you just put those pads near your like pelvic.
Were you thinking Dr. Hose is in like the hose to spray down the lawn?
Yeah.
Because I know you love your lawn and
Yeah.
you keep that lawn
Yeah.
green
Dude,
and
it's crazy.
short.
I have a
Yeah.
pair of New Balance at home, and I came home from the hospital, and they were grass stained. Even though I've never mowed a lawn before, it was crazy. It's like a
Hey
dad. As
there,
soon as
buddy.
as soon as you become a dad,
That's
you
what
have, it does,
happens.
your shoes, your white shoes, just become grass stained.
Come on, Bucko, let's go.
And so they give you she's on the oxytocin, and this is a fucking long ass process where every so often the obstetrician is coming in and checking the cervix and going, oh, you've started to dilate this much. Then a couple hours later, okay, you've dilated a little bit more. You've dilated.
How do they
dilated a little
check
bit
it?
more.
Do they have like a ruler and they're just like eyeballing it, or are
No,
they
dude,
like
they
gonna,
put their
They
fingers.
stick their whole head in her vagina.
They take their hand like this and they go in and they feel.
actually?
And
Wow.
dude,
That's wild. That's wild that they have
I'm
that.
going to tell you something
that
later
ability.
that's gonna fucking blow your mind. So they do that, and this was a long process. So that started at okay. So this is fucking insane. So we go in Saturday night. We get those
Friday night. Friday night you went
no
in.
Saturday afternoon.
Okay.
They give you the misoprostol to start opening up opening the cervix a little bit, and then they can only give you 4 doses of that, and you have to get them 4 hours apart. And so max 4 doses, because otherwise too much of that medication can take oxygen away from the baby. So they're like really, really, really monitoring closely how you react to getting that medication. So she got that. That went from 4 p.m. till 5 a.m. the next morning.
Yeah, you basically have like 12 hours if they're giving them 4 in
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
4-hour windows, because they give the first one and then 4 hours after, 4 hours after, 4 hours after.
And Kyla ended up getting 3 doses of that when she was dilated enough to do what's called a Foley catheter. They take a catheter.
So when she's dilated enough, what time of day is that? Because like this started in the afternoon. Are you just like sort of anticipating into like Saturday evening and it's going later and later? Like what time does this happen?
Literally, we get there. They give her the first dose of this misoprostol, which is just a pill, and then they go, okay, well, we can't give this another dose to you for another 4 hours. So if you guys want, like, leave and go for a walk, go have dinner, and come back.
Yeah.
Yo, he's chewing your shirt.
So we literally we left the hospital and got sushi and had dinner.
Yeah.
And came
That
back
was
to the
Friday
hospital.
night. Friday night, right?
No, this is Saturday.
Grab that shirt with the tongs, will you, so he
Okay.
doesn't chew a hole in him. Yeah, who cares what the fucking day was,
I'm
Brian?
trying to think because I'm trying to think of the day that I had.
It doesn't matter. Look, I put the bet. I put in $20 that she was going to pump that thing out on Sunday evening,
Right.
and I fucking missed it by
You were
about
very
just
close.
about 12
You were
hours.
very close.
Fuck.
So
Okay, yeah,
so
right.
so you go in. So it's 12 hours of that. So the next morning, so Sunday morning, they start going. The obstetrician comes in and says, okay, you're dilated enough. So the pill that they're giving every 4 hours is like a very slow dilation process. And then once you're dilated enough to get what's called a Foley catheter in, they put this catheter in, which is a catheter with an uninflated balloon on the end of it.
Yeah.
Once it goes into the cervix and into the uterus, then they put water into the balloon,
Yeah.
and it inflates it to 3 centimeters.
So all catheters do that.
And
All catheters have that balloon. When you have one in your dick hole,
Oh, right. Yes.
the balloon is blown up.
Right. Yes.
Which is why if you have a guy that I just been going on the dates with this nurse, and she's been telling me crazy stories about work. And when that balloon is blown up, sometimes people come out of sedation and they're confused, and they'll pull things out of their bodies.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
And
fuck.
when someone pulls a catheter
Oh,
out
no,
and that
no,
balloon
no.
is inflated, it's no bueno.
No.
How
bueno.
does
It is
how
very
does how does the balloon blow up inside?
It's with
they
the
just feed
liquid.
water?
Yeah,
They like feed water into the
a
catheter.
giant
Not
water
air.
balloon up
Yeah.
in your
No,
pee.
no, with water.
peel.
And it goes so like if you're urethra, like say it goes in your urethra, right?
I mean,
Right?
yeah.
So
yeah,
like
the-
this.
yeah,
Let's say this
yeah.
is the cervix.
Yeah.
So into the cervix from the bottom, the catheter goes in like this, and then a balloon blows up out here, and then
that keeps it in,
and then it keeps it in.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
so
it's kind of like the base of a butt plug.
Yeah,
I can
exactly.
see how it works in the cervix because I feel like there's more space. I'm confused
but-
about the like in the urethra, like it's just fucking.
No, because
Well, just think about it. It's in
a
the
small
urethra. It's a little
space.
tube, and then you blow this thing up.
Once it's in the bladder.
Once it's inside.
So it's just like it's against the walls, and it's just like I'm
Yeah.
staying here.
It's it literally is
Right.
like
Okay.
So the way that works,
a base
so,
for a butt plug.
So this is
Right,
this is
okay.
meant to then take the slow process that the pills are for, and then to speed up the dilation process because
It's like using a jack on a car.
no. So
Kind
you
of,
take
right?
the balloon sits on the inside of the cervix, and then so basically the baby is not low enough to press on the cervix. If the baby was low enough to press on the cervix, the pressure releases hormones that dilate the cervix.
Body
Yeah.
goes, hey, baby's coming out.
But
We
the
gotta.
but the baby isn't low enough to do that. So the catheter
is doing
the
that
pressure of the catheter on the cervix from the inside
Wow.
Yeah.
releases hormones that make the cervix dilate quicker.
I think
Wow.
you said no
Wild.
too quickly to my analogy about the car jack
Okay.
because if it was a car jack and the baby was the jack and you maxed it out and it didn't reach the bottom of the car, you had a lifted car, you probably need to put it on a block. So the catheter is like putting the block underneath the jack it up on a 4x4 block. You know?
Dads know.
Yeah.
So
Sorry,
dads
sorry,
know.
I said no because I didn't know how many dads out there were listening. Obviously, the dads out there know.
It's
because
a,
I
it-
know that.
there's not a lot of dads listening. We
Yeah.
we have an 80% female
Got a lot of
listenership.
mommies, not a lot of dads.
Sometimes
yeah.
you got to jerry rig it.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that happens, and then basically you're waiting for that to fall out because once it's the balloon is 3 centimeters. Once you're 3 centimeters dilated, the balloon will come out on its own,
Yeah.
more or
Yeah.
less, or with a little bit of a tug.
Yeah.
So then once that's out, once
Oh.
yeah, you got that plant. So once that's out, then they go in with a little tiny hook, and
No.
and they break the the fluid sac inside the uterus
Oh my
Fishing.
God.
They're going
and
fishing.
break your water. So then,
They are going fishing.
dude, and literally they break the water and it's like,
Oh,
and it just starts
no.
coming. It just starts coming out,
Uh,
but it doesn't all come out. Only some of it comes out.
I saw some more like would come out later.
Yeah,
guys.
you did.
Okay.
Okay. So then, so they break the water, and as soon as they break the water, then the body is like, it's fucking go time for contractions.
Yeah, right.
So
What time of day is this?
this is at 4:30 p.m. Sunday. So this
Okay.
is
Dude, I
20
was so
This
close.
is 24 hours later.
Are you kidding me?
So with you, Taylor,
Kid, why didn't you tell her to hurry? You're like, yo, Jared's
Jeremy's
got
gonna
20
win the
bucks
bet.
on this. Fucking hurry up.
Taylor,
Let's
I'm,
go.
I'm curious about your perspective on the timeline, like during, like while it's happening. So like, I guess at on Saturday night that she's going to be getting this thing to help dilate her, like make her dilated. Is that
Yep.
Is that the right
Sure,
way to
yep.
say it? But then at 4:30 on Sunday, it's like boom. Okay, all of a sudden like things are starting to happen. Are you like, this baby's going to come any minute, or do you have like a good idea that it's going to be
No,
still a while at this point?
because
I don't
when
think
they
anyone
break the
knows.
water, like Kyla's having contractions from the oxytocin, but she can't really feel them. You can see them
Yeah.
on a graph. They put monitors on. They put 2 monitors on your belly. Every time they give you the misoprostol,
I keep thinking about like sushi.
they
Like,
give
we're going
you
for sushi.
they give you they put 2 monitors on. One's to monitor the baby's heart rate, and the other one is to monitor the contraction of the uterus. So you can see the graph, the graph
Like
going
when the contractions are coming.
no contraction,
Yeah, wow,
contraction, no
cool.
contraction.
Mm.
And so once they break the water, then those contractions are like they ramp up, and now all of a
It
sudden,
looks like a 9.8 earthquake on the Richter
dude,
scale.
almost instantly, Kyla went from like no feeling to like like hardcore pain.
And can you do your best impression of like the sound she was making at the height? Okay, so you guys didn't do Lamas.
I was like, it's so
You were-
funny.
you were
It's so
saying next
funny.
to her going,
it's so funny because
And
like
she was like, "Get the fuck out of my ear!"
because they're like, don't try to breathe slowly. Just
Yeah.
fucking do what you got to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
And so she starts, and when that happens, I'm like, holy fuck, this baby's coming like now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now Kyla's like, okay, now I want to get the epidural. the anesthesiologist comes in, gives her the epidural, which is like a
Big
fucking
old
super involved process.
fat needle in the back,
They
right?
put this needle in your lower back, and then they run this like metal wire up your back. It's on the outside, and tape it onto your back, and then it's got like it's kind of like an IV, I guess. It's just like a different kind of IV.
Why is there a metal?
I don't know
string
why.
up her back?
I don't know why it's metal, but the medicine is running through that. Because I thought that an epidural was like you just give a shot of something.
Yeah.
I thought it was just a needle in the back and they just inject.
Yeah,
No,
me
it's like
too.
It's like a constant drip.
It's like a different kind of IV. Yeah.
Oh wow, cool.
And so they're giving you that. So and then when she gets that, it doesn't really take very well. Like she's still in a lot of pain. So then you have this thing, you have this little button that it has like a governor on it where every so often it's like, okay, now you can have more.
And she's like on Jeopardy, fucking trying to buzz in and get her answer. And
Yeah.
Family
like,
Feud. She's fucking Family Feud.
And she's hitting this button and it's not getting any better, even though it's
Good
giving
answer.
her
Good
more.
answer. Good
Good
answer.
answer, good
Good
answer.
So then
answer.
eventually the anesthesiologist comes back in and hooks up like a manual syringe onto the IV and gives her like a top up, like a bigger top up of the medicine. And then she starts to relax and literally goes from, I thought this baby was coming to, oh, now you're just chilling again.
Right.
And like hardcore chilling, like let's watch TV chilling.
Play checkers.
And the nurses are there and they're just monitoring and we're hanging
how many
out.
people are in the room at the time? Like nurses, doctors?
There's usually like one or two
50?
nurses, and then the obstetrician is coming in every 2 or 3 hours to check and see what's going on, check her cervix, how much she's dilated and everything. So then once she chills out, that sort of comes and goes, and then she starts getting pain again, like really bad pain. So the anesthesiologist comes in again.
in in her vagina area or like
no,
sorry?
dude, like in her whole fucking gut, man.
No, like in her lower back, in
Yeah.
her hips, and in her lower back and her hips, but mostly on her left hip. And they were kind of confused as to why she was feeling this pain, because they're like, you really shouldn't feel this pain on the epidural. Like the epidural is like crazy. It's a mix of it's a local anesthetic and fentanyl,
Whoa.
but it's not fentanyl that you would feel.
right. Like oh God,
yeah, it
that's
doesn't
nice.
pass the blood-brain barrier.
Right.
So it's all like feeling based. It's not like mental.
Yeah.
You don't, there's no like dopiness or anything. From it.
Right. It's just like killing the pain.
Yeah. So they come in again. They give her a top up. Pain kind of goes away. She relaxes again. And then a few hours later, again, the pain comes back. The anesthesiologist comes back again. And the anesthesiologist is very much like, this is fucking weird. I don't know why you're having this pain. And they're sort of going, this might just be the fact that this baby is going down into your pelvis, and in your pelvis, there's just too much pain for this epidural to contain. And this is just how it's going to be. And I'm looking at Kyla, and she's a wreck. Like she's on the verge of passing out. Like,
Holy.
and she's like,
she's
falling.
like you in Brazil when you had that burn.
Yeah, she's having a contraction, which is crazy pain. And then she's basically passing out in between.
That's probably a
contractions.
no-no to never compare a man's experience with pain to a woman giving birth.
Yes,
Oh,
definitely.
absolutely.
Definitely.
dude.
Should never do that.
Definitely. And,
Yeah.
and during the suffering,
Have you ever stubbed your toe though? Dude.
Fucking sucks.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
that's hardcore pain.
during the
Yeah.
suffering part, I was like, I know exactly what this is like. This is like the end of a hard bike race. You're really going deep. Like your legs are on fire. Your heart rate's going. You really got to dig. It's you know it's all going to be worth it in the end. And she really appreciated that.
Yeah,
She really
yeah.
responded
She,
well.
she responded well to that.
She's like,
Yeah.
thank you. I appreciate
Yeah, she
you
was like, wow,
mansplaining
I'm
my
so
pregnancy."
glad that
Yeah.
you're my man.
She was like, "Oh my god, you're right. This is exactly like bike racing," and so this happens several times with the anesthesiologist.
Babe, you've seen me on my trainer. You know what it's like.
You know what it's like.
You know what it's like to go deep?
So then there's a shift change, and a new anesthesiologist comes in, and that one comes in and gives her another top up, and she's asking different questions and kind of trying to figure out the situation, because like it's a brand new person who's just getting like a lowdown on what's happened, and now is like assessing it in their own way.
Yeah.
And they basically come to the conclusion that this epidural that she got, like they feed this wire into your back, and if it's like a little bit like off like this,
The
once
hose
it's
is
in,
kinked.
like then it won't work because
Yeah.
it's not hitting the nerves right. So then they come to the conclusion that this epidural was like,
A dud.
yeah, like not botched isn't the right word, because I don't want to make it seem like
Yeah.
the anesthesiologist did a bad job. I think it's such a fine line that like it's kind of just it kind of half worked and half didn't work.
Yeah, it's like when you crack open a beer that wasn't properly fermented.
Yeah.
And you get it's like, well, it's a flat beer.
Exactly. For our dads.
Still going to drink
for
it.
our dads out there.
I feel like it's more like you go put your
Carbonated, not
sprinkler
fermented.
put your sprinkler out on the lawn, you know, to water, and you didn't realize that when you're walking around the car, it got stuck. The hose got stuck a little bit under the tire.
Yeah.
And it's a bit pinched off. And
Yeah.
you're not getting the same amount of flow.
But it's a little bit like it's a kink that you can't undo. So they go, we're going to take the hose off, throw it in the garbage, and buy a new hose.
And so they just re-upped her.
They take the IV, they take the wire out, the IV wire, and then they redo it. And then as soon as she got that one, she was like, and I'm telling you guys,
she was like, hallelujah.
So this is really interesting that I learned the difference between natural quote unquote pregnancy and induced pregnancy is that so if you have a natural birth, that oxytocin,
AKA hardcore birth,
that oxytocin is so it's actually the opposite. It's the induced birth is like
natural birth is like
up.
parkour birth, and the birth that Kyla had is like let's take a walk through the park birth.
No, it's the opposite. The induced birth is like far more intense. I'm
gonna get some emails.
Yeah, I know why. I understand it in my
I'm gonna tell you why.
In my layperson search. It's because initially the jack fit perfectly if you were just doing a regular one.
Okay,
but you had to stock it up on a wood block.
So if you go into labor naturally, you've been releasing oxytocin for like days, possibly weeks before you actually end up going to the hospital. So you've had this like gradual, like people who have a natural birth and end up at the hospital, they're usually like 3 to 5 centimeters dilated by the time they get to the hospital.
Yeah.
Right.
When you show up and you get induced, you go from
Super Saiyan.
0 oxytocin to it's time to have a baby oxytocin.
Oh.
And so a person who's gone into natural labor is going to have contractions that are like really spaced out. And those contractions are going to start getting closer together and they're going to get longer. But when you have oxytocin being given to you in IV for induction, you go from having no contractions to contractions every 60 seconds. So a natural birth contractions will, once you're at the hospital, basically they say, once you're having contractions for 1 minute, every 4
it's the natural process.
A 1 minute contraction every 4 minutes, and that for an hour.
Yeah.
But once you do oxytocin, you're having a contraction.
You're strapping onto a fucking rocket.
You're having 60-second contractions every minute for like 12 hours. Wow. So it's like being in a constant contraction for like, she was doing that for like 18 hours.
When it was over, like when it was all said and done, did you have a conversation with Kyla to be like, yo, how fucked was that? Like would you do like in this juncture right now, pretty early on, and I know that these opinions change pretty quickly, or like they change over time, but like, do you think that that's something that she was like, I will never do that again? No,
because when the epidural works well, you really don't feel anything.
Feel it. Yeah, right.
So like getting induced and not getting pain meds is almost not even an option.
Right.
Like but the pain is way less. And this is from me reading. Obviously, I don't have that experience. Kyle doesn't have that experience. But when you read about it, when you have a natural birth, you have, because of all the processes that are happening naturally in your body, you get endorphins that get released that reduce the pain.
It reminds me of hot sauce. It reminds me of like the bomb. You know, like you put a chunk of the bomb on a chip and you eat that, and in the moment you're like, the pain is real. Like I'm sweating, like everything is fucking delirious. The room's spinning. This is fucking crazy. But also, why do I feel like high? Like I just did cocaine.
Yeah.
And then when it's over, you're like, well, thank fuck that's over. And then like 2 days later, after your butthole recovers, you're like, man, I kind of want to do that again.
Yeah, dude, I totally know what you mean. I feel like pregnancy.
Again.
That's in my mind, pregnancy is exactly like
it's
having
exactly
hot sauce.
like a round of hot ones.
And I should say, I do want to say that when I say that about the pain thing, I don't mean that it's like a manageable pain if you don't have medication when you have a natural birth. It's fucking insane.
It's birth.
It's fucking insane.
You're pushing. Can you imagine pushing a football at your asshole?
I just mean
and your football was 22 inches long and what'd you say, like 79 inches wide?
what I mean is that if you have 2 pregnancies and one's induced and one's not, and neither of them take pain medication, the induced labor is going to be more painful.
Wow.
But yeah, because it sounded like you were saying almost not painful when it wasn't induced, but I hear what you're saying. You're not saying that.
No, I'm not saying that.
It sounds like it's
fucked. It's fucked either way. It's just a slightly less crazy fucking fucked than the induction crazy fucking fucked.
I'm curious about the epidural in terms of when you say like it makes the pain or makes you not feel the pain.
We're talking no feeling.
No. So like, but so when I got my wisdom teeth out, it's so funny.
But you're trying to just wrap your head around it, like, you know, the thing that we'll never know.
Yes, yeah. And I mean, I'm not comparing. But
folks, listen, you know what Brian's doing right now, and write us letters@sickboypodcast.com if you want to tell Brian how fucking stupid he's being by trying to compare this to.
Because what I'm actually about to say is that when you, like, even though you might not be able to feel it, I don't know about that, but with the epidural, you might not be able to feel it. And you said no pain. When I had my wisdom teeth out, I just had local anesthetic and my mouth was frozen. And I fucking heard that the dentist drilling and he had 2 hands. I swear to God, in my memory, he had his feet on my face and his hands, and he was pulling.
Do you ever see that in porn?
No.
You ever see that in porn? Like guys like fucking someone and he's got his foot on their head while fucking them. And you're like that is a move.
That's one of the videos.
That's a really intense.
That's a video. That's a video that if I stumble on that, I close that at that point. And I go, oh, that was a bad choice.
That was a weird. Why did I click that one?
But the real question I want to ask is, like, even though I didn't feel the pain, I felt, number one, the pressure of him pushing in that area, and also it was like a fucking traumatic experience.
There's probably pressure and stuff, but like I get the whole like numb. Like
so here, let me. I can explain to you how intensely pain reductive this is. Okay. So when finally the obstetrician comes in and basically says you're fully dilated and it's time to have it's time to like actually start the like let's push and get this baby out.
Yeah.
About a halfway before that, like from the dilation time, they said the baby is actually turned in a way that's not good, like not ideal, and could lead to a higher chance of getting a C-section.
I feel like the thing that would help in that situation is having somebody like Al Pacino come in and deliver a speech, because it feels like an underdog moment.
Yeah, and you're gonna see a huge difference between what you think would have helped and what did help. So they go, okay, well the baby is turned where they are feet up towards Kyla's head and belly facing out of Kyla's belly. And they want it to be the other way around.
So back facing out her belly.
Back facing out the belly, feet up. And the way
how the fuck do you even change that?
So once Kyla is dilated enough, the obstetrician comes in and goes, oh, I'm going to put my hand in your uterus.
I'm going to put my foot on your head. My hand up your uterus.
She goes in.
Oh my God. Full fist.
Full to almost to the elbow into Kyla.
No lube?
Oh, there's lube. Yeah. Yeah. Kyla was like, no lube. I wanted hardcore. And Kyla can't feel that.
Oh my God.
That's how hardcore the epidural is.
And so she just reaches in, like grabs the head and just fucking twists the fucker?
Dude, she went in, turned the baby.
Oh my God.
Turned the baby 180 degrees.
Whoa.
And this is what happened. You know,
they're magicians.
You know when you're in a hot tub and you get the air pocket that floats up in your hands.
Yeah.
And then you push it and it goes.
Yeah.
When she flipped the baby,
a big old queef.
No. Dude. Waterfall onto the bed where the obstetrician's arm is like half submerged in fluid. Did you
like that?
Dude, the sound, the the rushing gush of liquid sound is so unnerving.
Do you have to go pee afterwards?
That's hot.
Like,
Yeah, I
did
went, oh, I have to urinate.
my question is, when you have the epidural, you said it doesn't pass the blood-brain barrier. So like you're like, is Kyla like, hey, I'm just totally like, like totally coherent, good. Like, oh, what? Like there's the obstetrician's whole arm is inside me. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. And so the drawback of
I picture her kind of being like, what?
One of the drawbacks of an epidural is that once it's time to like really get the party started and start pushing, is that you can't feel when to push.
Right.
An induced pregnancy, and I just learned this yesterday actually. An induced pregnancy doesn't produce it's called the something, it's like the birthing reflex or something like that, which is the urge to push. So when you have an induced pregnancy, you don't get that reflex. So you're told, the nurses are guiding you through this to push at a certain time. So you're looking at the graph that's showing when the contractions are happening, and they're going contraction, push.
Whoa.
And so it's really helpful if you know that you're having an induced pregnancy to really try and develop a really close relationship to like your pelvic floor, so that when and what it feels like to like manually push and put pressure down there, so that if you have an epidural and you can't feel that, then you have like a muscle memory sort of.
I bet you the yoga really helped.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Kyla went to see Stephanie Brown.
Yes, Stephanie Brown, past guest of the podcast, who's a pelvic floor physiotherapist.
And she was, and Kyla was like super fucking happy with everything that Stephanie
she's
did
pretty
for her.
special.
Yeah,
yeah.
And so then basically she turns the baby. The dilation continues to happen. She comes back in. She says, "You're fully dilated." She starts to push, and then the pain comes. She ends up getting the second epidural. Then the pain goes away. She starts pushing again. And now all of a sudden it's like the team is here.
Yeah.
And we're talking the obstetrician, the resident obstetrician, a med student, 3 nurses. Like there's a team of people in the room.
They make a cool entrance.
Well, they all come in at once, and then they all start talking, and they're all going, doctor, doctor, and they're shaking each other's hands and going, doctor, 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 doctor.
Is it kind of boring though, or is it like cool? Is it exciting? Were you excited?
It's like it's kind of like a classroom.
Okay.
Because they're like, and they're kind of talking to each other and going like, well, this is what's happening here, and like, this is what's going on
You
here.
hear like that low mumble of like people.
They don't bust through a giant like piece of paper that's got like the doc team, and they bust through like a bunch of football players.
It's not like the Kool-Aid Man.
They weren't previously tailgating in the hallway.
No, they weren't. Thank God. And so they start that process, and then it's not really happening. It's going kind of slow, and then they leave, and then they come back.
What time is this at?
This is like 8 or 9 in the morning, 9:30. And so they go in and they're doing that. And they're coming in, they're coming out, and they're monitoring Kyla's pushing and everything. And then eventually they're like, when the baby's not low enough, there's 2 options. If it's like not low, let's say not low enough grade 1, then they use forceps to go in. So they're like tongs. They're basically medical tongs, and those
like serrated like these fuckers.
Those go in. No, they take the serration off. So they go in and they basically clamp the baby's head and like cup it.
I saw the video.
Saw them.
Yeah, no, I don't.
And then if the baby's lower, if the baby's a little bit lower, like closer to coming out,
they get her to do jumping jacks.
They don't have to use the forceps. They
use a vacuum.
They use a vacuum.
Yeah. Oh my god,
yeah.
That's the cone head baby
which
thing.
Stretches their.
That does the cone head.
Yeah, I mean the cone head sort of happens. Zaya had a cone head.
Yeah,
like immediately. No, you know what it's not a cone head. They look like the creature from Alien, because it's more of a cone head out the back.
Yeah. Oh wow.
If they're in the right position.
Wow.
So basically he comes in and he says, "Listen, I think that forceps, based on the position, based on everything that I'm seeing, I think that the forceps are really going to work. I don't think you're going to need a C-section. And then if you need forceps, you go into the OR. You change location. So we're in a room. So then it's like I get into scrubs, and there's a whole fucking thing. They come in. You sign papers, and they read you consents and everything because you're going into the OR.
Was anybody at any point throughout this entire process like really big fan of the show?
Nobody. Oh, sorry. Our nurse that was overnight with us.
Mike Ripley comes in and goes, hello, everyone. I was a guest on Sick Boy Podcast. I'm here to do some work.
One of the nurses that
I'll sign autographs later.
Was Mike Ripley the one who did the delivery?
No, it was a guy named Abdullah Akabawi and Heather Cockwell, who is Mike Ripley's colleague at AART and at the hospital. And so they basically say, we're going to do the forceps. We go into the OR. I scrub up. You go in, and then it's like a whole fucking OR scene.
Yeah.
There's like 15 people in there. They get the NICU team to come in, who's going to take the baby as soon as she comes out to just do like a couple of quick checks and make sure that everything's all good, because that's just like procedure with the OR.
Is that more like a SWAT team setup? Or
Yep, it's a little bit. Yeah. I know you're really hoping for the SWAT team, and then once you're in the OR, it was like she probably had like 4 contractions or so, 5 contractions. Then the baby's head came out, and then they were like talking about the shoulders, and that's when the football shoulders comment was made. And then
she's going to be a soccer player.
And then the baby, and then all of a sudden she's fucking out. And then like, dude, the emotion when she came out was like, otherworldly.
Yeah.
Like a total.
Like, were you like, well,
That's
there
it.
goes my life. You know, like that.
Yeah.
You were sad.
Yeah. It was like it was an
Yeah.
instant mourning.
They started keening.
Way to make probably the most beautiful moment in Taylor's life sad for a minute.
Like so aggressively emotional.
Yeah.
Like I just started bawling. Kyle was bawling. Like it was just, it's fucking insane.
Yeah.
Just fucking insane.
Yeah.
What do they do with the baby as soon? Because you said they have to take it to the NICU. Did they like?
No, there's like a neonatal station that they take the baby over to, which are actually in all the birthing rooms. They do it no matter what. As soon as the baby comes out, they put the baby on the table and they do a little suction on the nose. And they're like, they're trying to work like, because there's amniotic fluid in the nose and stuff. And they're trying to do this like at warp speed because they want to get the baby skin to skin with the mother, like
stat
ASAP. So Zaya was on the table for probably like 3 minutes, like just getting really quick checks done, basically going, she breathing well, get the mucus out of her nose, put the baby on Kyla, and then that's it. And then they did the work on Kyla, which was a little bit of tearing.
Wait, but does she then pass the placenta, or did that come out like right away?
3 minutes later.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, so they wait. Like, was she done passing the placenta before the baby was on her chest for skin to skin?
Yes. Yeah.
Did you keep the placenta?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, dude, congrats. You're a fucking dad now.
Yeah.
Big change.
Yeah,
Big change in
awesome.
life. That's awesome.
And Zaya's super cute.
She's
What a
super
little
cute.
baby.
Yeah, except for the eyes. That's a weird.
She's got
weird demonic
really
eyes,
long
but-
fingers.
She's got really long fingers and really big feet.
Yeah,
Dude,
like
she's
dad
gonna-
mitts.
She's gonna be she's gonna be tossing.
She's
She's got a good glove.
She's got mitts.
She'll be tossing
You know,
the pigskin
it
in no
made
time.
me think like maybe Dr. Ripley like put
Genetically-
some CRISPR
Yeah.
because he's got mitts.
Yeah.
And I was like, those look like Ripley
He,
mitts.
he just replaced your sperm with his.
Yeah, I went.
He was like, it's
I
never,
went-
gonna, it's
I
never,
went-
gonna, it's never gonna work for this short
Yeah.
guy.
I just went.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Imagine that. It was just
Yeah.
like they're like, well, these little
A
hammerhead
doctor,
sperms are
a
gonna
doctor,
fucking-
a Chinese doctor basically did that.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
in jail now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I had a bunch of stuff prepped, but we'll just toss it over to the next week's episode. But before we wrap up, I do want to show you 2 things. We'll do what the health, but before we do, since we're talking about kids, and you're gonna have to be dealing with this kid now for at least 18 years. I want to show you guys this fucking Game Boy, this thing called the Game Boy Petty Sedate. Okay, so this is like you know how like over the years there's been a lot of I forget the term, but like they're like additions to gaming. You know, so like when you had the old NES, you get the gun, you do Duck Hunt.
Mhm,
Yeah,
mhm.
yeah.
Or like you got like the PlayStation hand wands for like like VR.
Yeah.
Um,
And the gun for VR.
yeah, and there's there's been tons of iterations of these additions to gaming systems.
I loved that Duck Hunter gun when I was a
Yes,
kid.
right.
That was so much fun.
So this is one of those, but it was specifically made for like hospitals. Okay, so this video, the video starts off kind of sad, but just check this out.
Medical procedures are particularly painful for children. More so than for adults, the emotional trauma adds to the physical pain. The psychological trauma is augmented by a loss of familiarity and control.
Is this
and a fear
2022?
of the unknown.
No, this
Often
is
children are traumatized
this is a while
and
back.
must be restrained
So if
to
you-
allow the doctor to
what we're
safely
looking at
complete
here
the surgical procedure.
is a little kid who's got
Local
a
anesthetic will
laceration
help
on his
alleviate
poor
the
little
physical
forehead.
pain, but the anxiety and emotional
And we're
pain
watching
remain.
them put stitches in this poor little kid's head.
Oh, yeah, it was.
He didn't like that. So this is what they came up
Our
with.
solution helps children cope with traumatic situations by giving them control and allowing them to focus on something fun and familiar. Connecting the device to a Game Boy, music player, or video, the child is excited to receive a new toy.
Look at this. Watch this.
Prior to the surgical procedure, they benefit from being able to interact
Hey,
and play with
play the Game Boy.
device.
This thing is attached to their face.
When
It
it's
looks like
time
a
for the procedure,
like a
the
headset,
doctor
like
benefits from a
headphones,
convenient method of delivering
but with like
nitrous
a
oxide.
microphone that comes in and covers your whole mouth.
Look like a fighter pilot, okay?
Yeah, it looks like a fighter pilot's like headset. And they
Once
strap it to the
child
kid's
is
face
sufficiently sedated,
and get the kid to play
the doctor
Game Boy,
can
but this thing's
perform
just
the surgical
pumping
procedure without having to
Laughing
fucking
gas.
laughing gas into their face. The kid has no idea where he is.
The child has only a vague memory of the
Is this gonna be forever?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't remember anything.
yeah. Oh,
a medical device to the doctor and a toy to the child. The pediatric sedation headset blurs the border between procedure and play.
What
So,
the fuck? blurs
Did that
the
ever-
border between procedure and play.
Did that ever take off?
no, I don't think so.
Was there some ethical problems with that?
I don't know. I mean, I mean, fucking order me 7. Really, like I would love. Let's get some for the office. That
get
thing
some
looks
sedation.
fun as shit.
Petty sedate.
Do you guys want to do
Dude,
what?
does that not have the most problematic name?
Petty sedate? Yeah, yeah, dude. Yeah. That's
You're like, unfortunately, a truckload of them were stolen and were sold. Ended up being sold on the black market.
no. Yeah, they all ended up on an island.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
Oh no, that's not funny. That's not
All right,
funny.
so let's do what the hell. This is I don't have any information on what the fuck this is. I just have a video, and it is the wildest video I've ever seen in my life. This child somewhere in the world has the ability to turn his head 180 degrees. Look at this. I think he must have like Ehlers-Danlos or something.
Wow.
So he's literally like an owl. He can take his head and crank it literally like maybe 170 degrees, really.
Wow.
yeah.
How crazy is that?
Oh, my
Whoa.
God.
I don't like the aggressive
And then he can just leave
way.
it there. Look at
I don't
that.
like
Like
the aggressive way
He
that
does
he's
it
doing
hard, eh? Yeah, he's
Yeah.
going to fuck himself up.
Oh,
I
my
think.
dude. Yeah.
Dude, if
This
you
is
saw that,
this is a stroke waiting to happen.
if you saw that in real life, how
I'd run.
traumatic would that
I'd
be?
run. It would be like seeing a little girl in a nightgown with long black hair covering her eyes crawling out of a TV.
You know, it'd be
I'd
funny.
be
though.
fucking out.
Totally. Yeah.
You know, it'd be funny though. You know, in like classic action movies when someone snaps someone's neck,
Yeah.
like I'm picturing him as like one of the henchmen that
In like
that,
Die Hard.
yeah that
And
that
fucking Bruce Willis is like,
goes to snap his
gotcha,
neck.
motherfucker, and does it. And the guy just looks up at him and goes,
Guess
Not-
again,
not
bitch.
far enough. Yeah.
He
Hey,
goes,
speaking of
I
Bruce-
actually have this unique abnormality where you can't do that to me.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
gonna have to shoot me in the head.
Yeah.
I'm like a zombie. You gotta shoot me in the head. Listen, speaking of Bruce Willis, you guys hear the
Man.
news?
I did.
Yeah, it's-
Bruce Willis will no longer be acting anymore. He has aphasia, and it looks like his career is over.
Yeah, so that is from what I
It's,
read. I had heard of it before, but I wasn't familiar with it. So it's it messes up his ability to
Produce speech.
interpret and produce.
Yeah,
Like, so
we've had
yeah.
people on the show that have had aphasia due to other ailments. And we've talked about aphasia before. It was a long time ago.
Dude,
No,
I'm
not that
having
long ago.
I'm having
we
a
did too.
total I'm having a total brain fire right now, but I'm remembering the conversation now.
We had one in Toronto a while back.
Yeah.
Well, folks, the dad edition of Sick Boy Podcast is coming to a close. If you want to send your congratulations to Taylor, you can do that. Letters at sickboypodcast.com. Or even better than that, you can join the conversation over on our Discord, where you can chime in and have chats with all three of us at any point. We're pretty much just on retainer there, so you can literally talk to us and just flood our fucking Discord DMs anytime.
Yeah.
And listen, if you want to support the podcast, you can do that. Apple Podcasts, leave a rating and a review. If you're on Spotify, use your mobile app to leave a rating. And we'd love it. We'd love that.
Yeah, I mean, you already did the letters.
I already said it.
You already did the
Yeah.
letters thing. So letters
Yeah.
at sickboypodcast.com. And
Yeah.
if you want to be a guest, it's sickboypodcast.com/contact.
Yeah, we actually have I'm reminding myself now, we have a really great letter that someone wrote in. I'll read it next week.
Yeah, we got to wrap it up because I got to take a leak. You know how it is.
Dad's got some
There.
stuff to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, once the beer starts flowing.
Yeah.
Once those buds start flowing.
And huge thank you to the people who make this show happen. Jeff Lonis, our manager, we love you, and Rich O'Coin. Thanks for the theme music. Yeah.
That is it for this week.
I'm Brian.
I'm Daddy.
And I'm Jeremy, and that's it, buddy. Hey there, buddy.
Take care, sports.